Got it. I'm in. Got the password.
And then after that, it's gonna be Blackbeard. Call it! Call it! Call it! Call it! Call it! Okay.
Oh yeah, Mr. White just got me as well. I couldn't shoot him. The bar protected his fucking face.
How is your day going? It's a pleasure to see you. I'm gonna knife him in the head, I promise you that. Day's going fine. I'm doing alright.
Oh, what you? I don't know about
Oh!
Yeah. Here's a message you could have only got one of each of us.
Oh, that was a nice little deal. Oh, that was a nice little...
I'm pretty sure, like...
Let's get this little shotty right here.
Definitely not gonna win this next.
How about a little knife? Oh!
Nice, dude.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. It's nice to have you today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Why don't we get started and tell us a little bit about who you are, your username, and something fun about you.
Well, my name is Corey. My username's Gerberbaby27. Something fun about me. I have a tattoo of a pineapple on my arm.
Hey, that's pretty fun. It's pretty modern. Yeah, exactly. What inspired you to get the pineapple tattoo?
So I was adopted. So I don't have any real trace to my birth parents or anything like that, but I know that I'm Hawaiian and Samoan, and I love pineapples. So I was like, on Friday the 13th of 2011, I'd like to say, I went to, they do $13 tattoos on Friday the 13th at some places, and I was like, oh, you know, I didn't like any of them. And he was like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know, let's do something fun like a pineapple. And he's like, well, I've never done a pineapple before, but if you let me do it, I'll do it for $13. And I was like, done. So that's kind of how that happened. And that's really it.
Nice. Well, it's nice to have a little bit of your heritage. I take it that means you're a pineapple on your pizza kind of guy?
I don't like to weigh in on this because I don't want to choose sides.
You don't want to upset too many people, right?
Yeah, I think that there's a balance that you need on pizza. I think if you're going to have pineapple, you need to have something like a heat to balance it. You need like sweet and spicy. So like pineapples with jalapeno, or like sweet and salty. You need like pineapple with ham. But I think just pineapple alone, it's too sweet of a pizza.
Yeah, I think
I'm for and against it at the same time. I think yes, with the right ingredients. By itself, why don't you just eat a piece of cake or something? You want something sweet.
Well, I'll Lucy check you in for a spicy Hawaiian.
Yeah.
That's my favorite too, actually. Shh, don't tell anyone. A lot of people will rage. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your channel, Gerberbaby27, and kind of the games that you like to play.
Okay, sure. So I started streaming in October of 2017. Yeah, 17. I had been playing video games for many, many years, and I never thought about like getting in front of a camera and doing it. But then it started to get pretty popular. I was like, you know what? Why don't I throw my head in the ring? And for the first couple weeks I started, I was like, I get like one or two people pop in and say hi, and it's cool to have a conversation. And then out of nowhere, I got this host from, I got to remember his name. He plays Overwatch. His name's Mark. Like a huge host, like a 300 and something viewer host. And apparently a bunch of them liked what happened. Or liked what they saw, and it started to take off from there. And so within a period of like 2 or 3 months, I was averaging, 20 to 30 people having a good time playing different games. and it just kind of, I was like kind of surprised. I'm like, me? I'm nothing special, you know. I'm just a normal person who likes to play video games, and you know, that was kind of humbling for me. And that's when I kind of said, you know what, I like this. I'd like to do it more, and I'm going to. But for games, like I like all sorts of games. I get into FPS games because, you know, like I like the battle royale concept. Like, it's fun. You know, you want to be the last person. Like, you're chasing that adrenaline rush, like to be in the top. Like, I feel like anyone who plays a battle royale game, they get a certain kind of adrenaline rush once it gets top 10. You look up, you're like, there's 10 people left. Holy crap! Your heart starts beating super fast. I remember I started playing Fortnite before Fortnite got big. I mean, like I was playing the beta for it, so before it even got super popular, like old map, the first map, and going around and like building wasn't even a big thing. Like now, people are like doing crazy, insane builds like the Sistine Chapel, and when I started, I'm over here just like, all right, wall. Like somebody's over there, I need a wall. Okay, good. Now I'll peek from the side. But like the feeling that you used to get when you're in the top 10, and the feeling I got when I got my first victory, when I got my first solo win, it was just unlike anything I've had. So I do like those battle royale type games. However, I love adventure games. So like I'm fully in love with Assassin's Creed. Every time an Assassin's Creed game comes out, I have the full deluxe edition day of. I want to go through it. I'm going to 100% it. I'm like a perfectionist when it comes to that. It just happened with Spider-Man too. And I got I never had a PlayStation before, and everyone's like, PlayStation's the best, blah, 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 blah. So Black Friday, Target had like a $200 PlayStation 4 with Spider-Man. And that's the only game I wanted to get PlayStation for, was Spider-Man, because I love the adventure. So I actually just, first thing I did within 3 days is I 100%ed the campaign.
3 days.
And then,
Nice.
I bought the DLC the other day, all 3 of them, and I 100%ed those in 2 days.
Wow.
So like, I get super like hyper focused on these when they first come out, because I want to experience everything that the developers put into the games. You know, like there's little like nuances and little like Easter eggs for, you know, for all intents and purpose, that they put in there that you have to 100% the game to see. Like it's just fun. It's a lot of fun for me, and it's cool to bring a bunch of people on a journey like that.
It sounds like you're really scratching 2 big major different itches as well, with these completionist type games where you're able to explore 100% of the pixels created, and then a battle royale type game where it's inevitably going to destroy itself within a couple minutes and you can't complete it.
Yeah, I guess I like to keep a balance. For the game that I can't see all of, I'd like to have a game that I can see all of.
And it seems like... Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I was going to say, it seems like there is a modest amount of balance. You kind of touched on it briefly. You have a beta access to Islands of Nine, correct?
Yeah, I did. But now Islands of Nine is no longer a game in production. The developers went under. It was a great game. It had a lot of potential, but there was not enough communication from the developers. And during the period that they were trying to tweak the game and make it perfect, they took a little bit too much time, to where these other games came out, these major releases like Black Ops, and then new updates to Fortnite, and people were like, oh, that's it. You know, Blackout has the elements that Islands of Nine did, but it's done better. So like healing, for say, in Islands of Nine, you just injected a syringe and it gave you your health back. Blackout came out, same thing, and everyone's like, ooh, that was one of the things that I really loved about Islands of Nine, because it was so unique. But now this major game has it. It's more polished, and it's, you know, for double the price, I can play it without any issues. You know, it was $25 for Islands of Nine, and I think when Black Ops first came out, they did like a half off for like a couple of days, or like the normal game $60. Not only that, Islands of Nine was very fast paced. Like the one thing I really love about it is that in the lobby is a gun game, so you can so it's like the classic Counter-Strike, you know, global offensive gun game aspect, but in the lobby. So like you can get aimed out, you can get you can get your sights down for the game, but now Call of Duty has that as well, and Fortnite has that as well. So all these little things that were shaping the game to be so good, in my opinion,
Mm.
got, focus was taken away from them by major releases. And I think that's kind of where they lost. Plus, they could have done a little bit more promotion. Like they could have done a free to play weekend, and they didn't do it until it was too late. They did a free to play weekend, but this was after the game had already been on the decline. It went from having over 1,000 concurrent players to 400, 200, 60, 15, and not even enough to start a lobby in the game, which was a little frustrating.
What do you feel about the irony of this situation, in that in order for something like that to have occurred, for a game to have had its unique mechanics adopted before it even was outside of beta, in order for that to even have been such a prevalent issue, it was basically because enough of their inner information, their beta access keys, were being live streamed. And in real time, before they even had a chance to raw test some of their mechanics, they were already being adapted by a larger, better team.
So I said this to one of my friends here at work, and I'll say it again. It's whenever there's a game being streamed to a massive amount of people, expect developers and other people to pop in and look at it.
Yeah.
It's like scouting out the competition. Football teams do it. Like all sports teams do it. All right, let me go over here. Even in retail, like I work in retail, and when I'm going to say other stores open up, the first thing you want to do is you want to go in there and secret shop them, see what they do, see what makes them them, and you could take the information back to your home base, let's call it, and learn from it or adapt to it. It's everyone's trying to learn how to be the best from other people. And that's kind of what happens, I'm sure.
I feel the same way. I remember seeing you over at TwitchCon, but there were other chair companies there as well, and we could not but help ourselves meander into booths and starting conversations.
Exactly. And then you look at let's say for a computer, peripherals, let's say you had Corsair there, you had I think Razer wasn't there. There was a bunch. There was Corsair, there was Cooler Master, there was
Elgato, Blue.
All these, you can't help it. That's exactly what these conventions are for, is to go around and take a look at all of it and to try it out. I went from being an exclusive Razer peripheral user to now I'm using a Corsair keyboard, a Logitech G502 mouse. I changed because I was able to try these things out, and I'm sure that people go there and they go to these and they look at that like, oh wow, look at this right here. We can do something like that, and they write notes.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping them from doing that. That's kind of the beauty of going there. And I'm going to be at PAX East in 2 months, March. I think it's March. Yeah, and I can't wait to see what's on the forefront.
Yeah, we've yet to decide if we're going to go to PAX East officially, but after going to PAX South and hearing the size difference, I'm really excited to kind of go try it out.
How was that, by the way?
Oh,
it was a lot of fun?
It was a lot of fun, yeah. The intimate nature of PAX South is a little bit different than DreamHack or TwitchCon. People aren't necessarily there to network. They're more there to see a really cool game and play with people. So there's a lot of demos, and then people talking with the other people, playing the demo, try to, sharing the collaboration kind of deal. But
this was my first TwitchCon, the one this past year, and it was unreal. I can't wait to go to the next one. PAX, I went to PAX last year though, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. I was like, I'm going to every convention I can. I've never been to a DreamHack. I feel, or not really as much I feel, but I see that it's super game focused and where everyone's just playing games. It's like I like PAX and TwitchCon for the fact that you have different companies there that are showing off product, and then you have new things that are coming out that you can actually get like a sneak peek at. So in that case, I kind of like PAX for that. And
DreamHack still does have professional level booths, don't mind you, but it's going to be limited to like HyperX or Team Liquid's esports jerseys, and then the dev scene as well. But it is majority esports competition for sure. But if you're in the area and you just needed that itch and to meet some gamers, ideal.
Yeah, but for me, I couldn't justify flying out and then doing it just because I'm not competing. I'd just be going to see it. So that's when I wait for something local, or I go to like a huge event like TwitchCon, where I saved up and went, and it was one of the coolest experiences ever to finally meet people that you talk to online for so long, and kind of just hang out. It was a lot of fun.
Speaking of Twitch and your channel itself, you're a variety streamer basically. I mean, not a variety streamer, but you do stream a variety of different types of games. Probably 5 different games are in your top 5 with some decent time on it. Have you noticed that your audience's perception changes depending on what you're doing on stream, or are you able to move between games and genres fairly easily?
I feel like I stick to what I like, and not everyone will like everything I do, and that's fine, but I'm just happy having them in there for 5-10 minutes. If the game's not interesting you and I'm not able to keep you there, then go look at someone else. I have a stream team for Lost in the Sauce. Go look at any one of them. I'll talk about them all the time because, to be honest, we're all part of a family, and we want everyone to be, exposed in the same light. So that's why at the end of every stream, I'll, host or raid anyone from the group, because if you don't like what I'm doing and you're still hanging out, you're gonna love what they're doing. There will be somebody who is scratching that itch that you have, per se. But for me, switching between games, most of the time I can keep my audience, and sometimes it's just like, oh, I don't like Fortnite, I'm gonna bounce. Well, listen, no problem. Thanks for at least letting me know. I hope you had a great time while you were here, and we'll see you next time. Like, that's kind of really all you can do. You can't appease to everyone.
But even so, you have to be hearing a little bit about how they're responding in chats. Do you notice any of the direction of your channel being determined by the way that communication is going, or do you kind of stick to that whatever I play is kind of what's tickling your itch kind of deal?
Well, I think that a lot of the people that talk in chat kind of hang out with me, and it doesn't matter what I play as long as I can keep them smiling, laughing, have a good conversation with them. However, some people are like, once in a while you'll get the whole like, oh, Fortnite sucks, play something else. And I'll be like, listen, you know what? I'm feeling like playing this right now. I apologize if that makes you upset, but I'll be playing something else in a little bit. Why don't you, look around and come back? Or, I'm not going to be like, well, then leave, I'm going to be like, listen, in all due respect, you have what you like. So if you want to watch something else until I go back to that, feel free, man. It doesn't hurt me.
Oh, you've been around on Twitch. You said that you started your channel streaming in just 2017, October 2017.
October 2017, when my wife went to Puerto Rico to help with the relief for the hurricane.
Very nice. How long did she spend over there? That's a huge.
She was there for a little over 2 weeks.
Wow. So
my wife is in law enforcement. She's a sergeant. And she knows how to speak Spanish, so they were looking for bilingual people to go down there and help out. And she had like no phone service, completely disconnected. I was like, you know what? That's when I was like, you know what? I need to keep myself occupied and talk to someone, because I just have me and my 2 dogs. Well, me and our 2 dogs, and that's really it. Like, there's only so long you can talk to the dogs before they talk back.
Especially with the Spider-Man, I mean, I've only ever streamed a few times personally on top of doing these types of interviews, and one of them was Spider-Man. And I got maybe 3/4 of the way through the game before I ever started streaming it, and I noticed that it was a really nice addition to add the conversation to an otherwise single-player game.
Oh, for sure. I think that the storyline is awesome. I cannot wait for the sequel, if it does come out. I wish there was more DLC, but I was reading up on it because I'm like, I want to play the game over and over and over. It's that good. And it doesn't look like there's any more DLC being released for it.
That's unfortunate.
But they're going to come out with another game, so you just got to wait for that and then get the DLC to that. I love all these companies that make these games, but it's a complete cash grab. It's like, oh, we're not going to do any more DLC, but you can buy the full featured game for $60 that we're going to put out, and then we'll put out another DLC. So give us $100. All right. But they work on these games so much. You could tell how, if you look back, let's say Grand Theft Auto 3, the graphics, like when you were playing it back then, it was the coolest thing around because at that point it was so advanced. But now you look at these games and it's almost lifelike. It's really cool. I just like the overall direction of how everything's going in terms of quality.
I like the finesse of the user interface too, how they really made it seem like a web slinger kind of interface. Like you actually felt, compared to like an Arkham Asylum type game, Like it kind of really imbued the superheroes style.
I love the Batman games too. I Batman, Spider-Man. I do like, I like some fighting games too. I haven't played a lot as a recent, but like Mortal Kombat, I can't wait to get my hands on. It's gonna be a lot of fun. What was the other one? Injustice. Injustice was a lot of fun. I'm a big superhero nerd. Like I'm kind of like there's a couple of TV shows that I watch religiously, and I mean absolutely religiously. The Flash,
Love it.
Arrow, Supernatural, Supergirl. Like only reason why I watch Supergirl is because they have the crossovers, but I do like it, and Legends of Tomorrow as well.
Up your crossover.
Those, yeah. The day they come out, I have them DVR'd because I sleep at night. I don't. It's either I stream. I have a set schedule that I stream Tuesdays and Saturdays, and then if I'm off, I'll pop in on like another stream.
Yeah.
But like at night, I'm usually exhausted, or I try to spend time with my wife. I find one of the things you really need in life is a work-life balance. But for me, it's like I have a full-time job, I have my streaming, and I have my personal life. So it's even more of a you have to put time to where it matters the most.
How has
overall,
Sorry, I was going to say, how has that experience really been for you, being able to juggle both a full-time job and a stream already up to 6K? I mean, does your job know that you stream?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a couple of people from work that actually stop by the stream often.
Cool.
I work, let's say, I'll give you this week's hours. So 62 hours this week I work. Then I also stream an additional 6 to 7 hours, let's say. And then I have my personal life. Like, it doesn't leave a lot of time to sleep, but I try to juggle as best as I can. I don't like to put off streams because I only stream on a few days. But like sometimes, like past Saturday, Kate took the night off, and Kate's my wife, and she took the night off, and I was like, you know what, I feel like we haven't had a couple days off. I'd rather take the night off and spend it with you. So we watched a movie and we just hung out, and it was amazing. You have to really take advantage of that when you can. But she works crazy hours being in law enforcement. So right now she just went into work at 2:45. She won't be home till 10:45. But she worked from 10:45 last night to 6:45 this morning. So she only had a period of about 6 to 7 hours of sleep before she had to go right back in for another 8-hour shift. So she likes to sleep when she has like a day off. And because she can't, when you come up home at 6:45 in the morning, it does something to your brain. Like the sun's out, you're like, I should be awake. And it's that much harder for her to fall asleep. So I really, when she's up and she's willing to hang like awake, I want to be there to at least spend some time with her.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got a little sidetracked.
Now your wife sounds like an outstanding person, donating time to relief efforts.
Oh, she is.
Save the community. You're over here just playing games like a badass.
I know. But juggling it all is sometimes hard, but other times, as long as it's done properly, it's fine.
Definitely. It definitely sounds like you're making an appropriate balance to keep your relationship in check. And
I have to. A lot of people have issues with that, and they post about it online and say it's very hard to keep a work and streaming like a life streaming balance. There are people that do it full time where I understand, hey, that's fine. Like, let's say I use Tim the Tap Man. He's one of my I love watching him. He's funny, he's hilarious. He does a morning stream and a night stream. He'll split it up, which is great. And that way he appeals to two different types of audiences. So let's say time zones are a huge thing I never thought about prior to streaming. I never had to. It's like, all right, it's just me, But now it's like, when I play at 10 at night, one of the guys that I play with often, it's 6:45 in the morning for him. Like, he's like, yeah, I just woke up, I'm ready to play. I was like, okay. Like, it's a bit insane to me. Like, I think it's 10:45 at night for him, but it's 6:45 in the morning. It's like 8 hours later. It's just time zones exist, and I didn't know that until I started streaming.
It's pretty impressive, and it's got to blow you away a little bit to have such a reach, to have somebody in such a far away time zone to be a personal friend and interaction like that on a normal basis. That's kind of hard for someone, but in general, but also a streamer or a channel like yours that's so sporadic. to create such a strong community seems a little bit hard to do. What would you say is like the secrets to the sauce of how you've been able to stream this together despite this inconsistent schedule, which is known to be the secret sauce of streams? Consistency.
Probably, well, making a schedule of it absolutely helped because now people know, oh, Tuesdays and Saturdays, time to hang out with Corey. Prior, it was whenever I had a chance. So it was very hard for people to know when I was going live without having notifications on and all this. So once, I got the schedule down, people started to come more because they know, oh, it's 10 o'clock on Tuesday. I know where I got to be. Plus, I'd love to say that my partnerships with a few websites, including Sliver.tv, has been huge for that as well, because with their hosts and their users, it sends me out to a whole different type of, clientele. I don't even know what reach or user base. That's better.
Yeah, different platforms, different users, different regions. Most prefer them. How did you actually get connected with Sliver? I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in getting a similar type partnership.
So I found out, this is probably, I think I created my account on there January of 2018. So I heard about the site. I went to it. I just started talking, I was on there like every day at work because the work computers didn't block it. So I was pretty happy about that. And I just started talking to the community, and then they were like, at that point, there was only like 8, 9, 10 partners on there. And then Yosoi Kush, another OPC partner, also the leader of the stream team I'm in, I guess I had applied to be a featured partner with them, and he said he knew me, and then they spoke to me. We had a little like interview type deal, and that was all she wrote. So I'd like to think that he helped me out, and I sealed the deal.
Very
He
cool.
helped me get in the door, and I sealed the deal. That's what I meant.
That's awesome. You had said I want to talk about that for a second. Lost in the Sauce seems to be the connection, basically, an organization. Your stream team, for those that don't know, can you go into a little bit more detail about how that kind of is structured and maybe how you came across it?
I found out about Lost in the Sauce from a friend of mine who I've known for 6-7 years, and this is when I first started getting into streaming. His name's Frisky Beast, and I found out he was in the stream team, so I started visiting all the stream teams. The same thing. It's all about networking. You just got to be present and make yourself known in a good way. But just talk to him. So I went to his streams a million times, and then some of his viewers, came to my streams when I was streaming, talked to me, and then, I applied to Lost in the Sauce, and the first time I got denied. And I was like, all right. But I think that where a lot of people fail is follow-up. So I didn't let it get me down. I kept visiting all the streams, reapplied the next month, and I was accepted. So, it's kind of the same thing for a bunch of my other partnerships. It's really just establishing a clear line of communication, following up, and making sure that, you don't get lost in the sauce. No,
So
lost
happy
in
you did that.
the like. I use like a work email as an example. I get probably 60 to 70 emails a day, and if I don't look at them immediately, they get buried. So think of it for like companies and stuff, like even like you guys. I'm sure if you don't follow up, some people can get lost. It happens, and not just, I'm saying in your industry, but in every industry. So I make it known. I usually follow up 24 hours afterwards, and then I'll do it every other day. Just wanted to follow up. I know you guys are busy. I appreciate your time. Just wanted to check in to see if you had a chance to look over what I sent you, or and I feel like my degree actually helps me out a lot with networking. I have a bachelor's degree in communications and public speaking, and I've always been a pretty opinionated person, but I tend to keep to myself on a lot of the stuff. But I have a voice, I'm not gonna. I want to make sure that if I'm putting the time in to send information your way, if you look at it, at least tell me you're not interested. Don't just leave me hanging. So I'm going to follow up until I actually get a response. Like, oh, sorry, yeah, we looked at it, we're not interested. Great, thank you. I truly appreciate the time. Thank you for at least getting back to me.
Consider
a lot of places, they just we'll get in touch with you if we're interested. Like, some people could be waiting for months. Like, follow up. Yeah. I mean, I feel like networking is a huge part of it, and Lost in the Sauce helped me get comfortable in the realm of streaming, and it's been a ride.
I appreciate your focus on the consistency of messaging. It's probably been something we could do better with some of our many job applications we get. But beyond that, I want to ask a little bit how the experience of being in Lost in the Sauce has been. A lot of people don't understand kind of the give and take for a community like that, or understand how to kind of operate within it. So what can you kind of elaborate on?
So, if you give me 1 second, I'm gonna
Sure.
I'm gonna tell you how many people are. You can still see me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the Lost in the Sauce Discord, 133, 285. We have about 500 people.
Woo!
So in the actual stream team, we have looks like about 65 to 70 people. So I think the part that I appreciate the most is that there's always someone to talk to, regardless of what time, whether it be day or night. There's always someone awake. I think the coolest thing about Lost in the Sauce is the communication. Oh, geez, I just minimized my whole screen. Hold on 1 second. I love the fact that everyone's a close, tight-knit family. At TwitchCon, a bunch of us, we all got an Airbnb together, and without ever meeting each other in person prior, besides I've met Kush before, it felt like we've already known each other. It was like we're together every day, and it's really cool because a lot of us know what's going on in each other's lives because we have confidants that we talk to every day, and it's like if you're going through an issue, they're going through it with you. They want to make sure that they can be there to help you out, and it's really awesome. I think that the family aspect of Lost in the Sauce is what keeps me, I guess, satisfied. But not only that, it keeps the whole team together. Because if someone's feeling down, everyone else is going to lift them right back up.
It's really special to find yourself such a tight-knit community like that. If I can ask a little bit about the timing in which you were able to find this community. Your channel is currently sitting at around, was it 6.5 thousand Twitch followers? Pretty nice.
No, actually, I am like 60 away from 7K.
Whoa, you're getting there, man. That's pretty quick. It wasn't a couple of days ago that we did this research.
A couple of channel views away from 400,000, which is insane.
Yeah, that is breakneck, to be honest, considering you started in October 2017 of actual streaming. That's pretty breakneck. At what point of this scaling were you able to kind of be a part of such a great family like Lost in the Sauce?
I was low. I was maybe 1,500 to 1,700 followers.
Really?
When I got into Lost in the Sauce, I don't remember exactly. To be completely, I'm just going based on the timing. I've gained. I think last year I gained like 5,000 people, so it probably makes sense that right in January I was in, like right before January I was in Lost in the Sauce, so had to be somewhere around maybe 1,500. I'm saying.
So that,
but it's the growth is amazing. It's actually every day it makes me like look at it like how is this even possible? But it's really cool.
Did you experience any significant hurdles in growing your Twitch channel? We talked about that first hosting event and then joining Lost in the Sauce. What other kind of events took place?
I remember who it was, by the way. It was Valkia. He's super yeah.
I know him.
You know him? Okay, yeah. So he's the one who hosted me. Oh, he's like the number, like he's top 3 in like the world or something like that. In Farah, when he hosted me, it was really cool. It's from actually the Facebook group, Twitch TV streamers. I guess he posted, and I liked it, and then all of a sudden he messaged me. He's like, "What's your channel?" I was like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." And then the next day he dropped that gigantic post on me.
Cool.
It had to be more than a couple hundred people. I don't even remember, but it was huge. And I've never seen my chat go that fast. Like, what?
From not expecting it to just
that was
bombarded.
I see that, like, Droopy Drawers, right?
Yeah, I love the Drew. Yeah.
Drew has gotten a couple of Tim the Tatman hosts, and it's something out of this world. If like, that's kind of, I mean, his is on like 10 times, 20 times the scale, but to be starting out streaming and to get like all of a sudden like, oh, thanks for the host, what? And then all of a sudden see the chat go nuts. It's definitely something completely unique that if someone ever does that to you, the feeling is quite awesome. But specific hurdles, there's been times where I hadn't streamed in 2-3 weeks. Like, you just don't see anything, and it's like it's a complete stop. And then one of the worst things to see, and it happens often, and that's fine, because sometimes people will be happy with the content. Sometimes, I won't be able to make it to see his content, so you see the follower number fluctuate. It'll drop down. As long as you can keep that number, kind of just slowly, I don't care how slow, but slowly going up. That's all you really need to worry about.
Were there any of these hurdles that were kind of unexpected that you wouldn't have really have assumed to have been the case going into it?
I didn't know what to expect, so I mean, all of it's just completely new to me. But I guess one hurdle will probably be November this past year. November, I got married, or leading up to November, let's say the 2 months leading up. Wedding planning takes up almost all your time. So I was canceling streams. I was, while it sucked, it just, it's definitely a hurdle. It's like, oh, I need to get time in. I need to get time in. I need to get time in, and I just can't find the time. So if there'd been any hurdle, it's being consistent.
Yeah, I was actually about to say we do twinge metric data to be able to see the rate of growth of your channel and the stuff like that, and of your followers, and you've been consistently just crushing it for a long time in a linear fashion. But just before November, it seemed that you peaked in concurrent viewership. How have you been able to kind of recover some of that lost time and to regain that inertia?
Social media, 100%. I hadn't been active on social media. One of the things I try to do nonstop is be active on Twitter. It's hard, but on Twitter, I actually don't have that many followers. I have like 1,800 followers on Twitter, and I'm just trying to grow that number as best as I can. But to be interactive with so many other people's streams through Twitter, it's definitely the way of being like, oh, wait, he's back? I'm going to go stop in his stream, or, this guy talks to me every day. How about I'm going to go check him out, just something like that.
If somebody listening or from your community wanted to start streaming of themselves, but they were having a difficulty setting up a schedule, some similar to you did, what would you give them as a recommendation and how to kind of narrow that down?
Depends depends on what their personal schedule is. So my personal work schedule, I make every 2 weeks. Every Friday we have a meeting, and all the employees, my employees and everyone else, we all draft the schedules, and then I have to figure out what stores I need to be at what time to run reports and stuff like that. And so once I know my times, I mean, now I know where to schedule because I keep my consistent schedule. But I think the first thing that anyone should really look to do is figure out what days work best. That's it. If you have every single week on a Wednesday from 6 to 10 at night free, there's your day. There's one of your days. Focus on that. If you have errands to run on this day, but that you can do them a day early and get it out of the way so that you have that time. It's time management. It once you can figure out where your free times are and make sure it's functional for you. Don't overwork yourself for, let's say mentally hurt yourself in the process, but just figure out where your time would be better spent, and if you're really looking to figure out when the best time to stream is, there's a couple of websites like there's one called Twitch Strike. It'll tell you what games to play at what times to get the best exposure. So once you can figure that out, there's the internet is a wonderful thing. When I first started out, I didn't know the first thing about anything. My graphics were basic. I didn't even know how to use OBS. When I saw the first time I signed up for Twitch, or when I went to get a stream key, I was like, "What is this?" Like copy and paste this into your OBS and send something. Like, all right. Went to YouTube, watched a bunch of videos, figured everything out. That was it. There's enough information on the internet and enough people willing to help. Like, I tell anyone if they ever have an issue or they need someone to talk to, my DMs are open, my messaging is open. Hell, I even give people my number, because what are they going to do with a phone? But I mean, that's it. The internet's got a million things, and if the internet doesn't, somebody knows the information. Just seek them out.
Throughout that process, from self-teaching yourself or self-learning from 0 to over almost 7,000 followers, what is the greatest lesson that you learned, or the greatest learning experience?
That's a good question. The best learning experience, or the best thing that I've learned, or anyone can learn, is to be open to criticism. Do not get down if someone's like, "I don't like the way you do this." Learn from it. Like, adapt. Someone's like, "Oh, your camera is like super grainy." All right, well, I appreciate that. Let me mess with the settings, see if I can get it better. Sometimes I do it with them right there. I'm like, "How's this? Is this better? Is this better?" Like, if somebody doesn't like something you're doing and they tell you that they don't like it, don't think of it as being negative. Think of it as being a positive thing. Well, thank you for letting me know that this seems to be an issue. I will try to fix it. Or, some people will just get all depressed and let it impact them and their energy on stream or anything like that. Don't. Let's brush it off and work to get through it.
Those are wise words for a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think is the one event that maybe you're most proud of?
Hold on, you went, I lost your voice for a second.
Sorry. What is the one event that you would be most proud of?
Oh, my G Fuel sponsorship. Probably. That's the biggest thing that I have going for me. I guess even Sliver. All the partnerships that I've gotten, or sponsorships, or whatever you want to call them, I call them opportunities. All the opportunities that I've been awarded in this, industry, have been absolutely amazing and humbling. That people look at me and say, "I want to go out on a limb for this guy. I think that he can help us," or I like what he's doing. Especially one of the coolest things was, I mean, I'm not saying this just because we're doing an interview now, but for a long period on stream, I was using a picture of a gaming chair as my background. Like, so behind me, I'll have to see if I can find actually, my OPC promo video when I first got the chair has it in there. It's me actually deleting the overlay in the scene to the actual chair being behind me and being like, "No more pictures." I was literally sitting in this like $20 IKEA chair. My back was hurting, and like, to have something now that is super comfy and doesn't mess with my back. This was the one thing. Like, at that point, I wasn't too, let's say, financially able to afford all these cool things, and now I am, and now I have like this awesome setup, stream deck, all this new equipment, and I constantly update everything, and it's really cool that some companies, including you guys, have taken a chance on me, and hopefully I do right by it. That's all.
Besides your OPC, what would you say your favorite peripheral is that you use on a day-to-day basis with your channel?
Stream Deck, hands down. It would have to be, I'd say, both my Elgato products, the Stream Deck and the green screen that's actually behind this.
The green screen behind the black screen.
But, well, yeah, this is the blanket. But my green screen, I don't have the apartment that I'm in where I'm at. Like, it's not a very visually appealing like background. So once I got the green screen, it's just amazing because one, you could put more of the gameplay on the screen, and it's not just like a box taking up a whole area.
Mm-hmm.
And the Elgato, I mean, it helps me change between scenes super quick, open up apps, open up programs and stuff, all without even like moving. I can do all that right here instead of having to click in 14 different spots, open something in administrator mode, this, and that. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'd say the two things that on a daily basis, peripheral wise, that I use would be the Stream Deck. I use that even when I'm not streaming because I have all apps and stuff that I open up. And actually shortcuts to folders, which is cool. Like I don't have to find like a game folder. I don't have to go through File Explorer 16 layers. All I have to do is press this and it opens it right up. It's really awesome. And then the green screen, because it conceals how absolutely disastrous my apartment is.
Well, I appreciate you cleaning up, putting up the screen, getting a haircut, and staying fresh for us today. You did great. I really appreciate you coming down and joining us today for the interview.
I'd like to leave you with one thing, though.
Sure.
This is probably the most asked question I get. It's about how I got my username.
Okay.
A lot of people ask this.
Yeah.
So 27, I was born on the 27th of May, and 27 is my favorite number, hands down. So let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
So back in college, I used to weigh a lot. I was at my highest. I was 510 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. Now I'm right around 270. I was down to 230, but I gained weight back. But I'm still working on it. But I looked like Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks. Mm-hmm. So my nickname when I played rugby in college was Goldberg. Everyone used to call me that. So I played. My position in rugby was hooker. I was a hooker. I was a hooker and a prop. So I always thought it was funny to say I was a hooker. So on Xbox, when I made my gamer tag, they made me change my old one. I don't even know why. But I couldn't fit Goldberg the hooker on there. So my buddy's like, all right, just do G-Berg the hooker. So after playing with many people and meeting new friends and stuff, people would start to try to say G-Berg and mess up and say Gerber. So my best friend one day, because we were in a party, it was my best friend who is actually the reason why I moved to Massachusetts, and another friend from another place, let's say, he kept trying to say G-Berg and say Gerber, and he's like, dude, it's Gerber, and I'm like, it's not Gerber, I made it, it's G-Berg. He's like, whatever, Gerber baby, and that was it. And then my best friend would always say Gerberbaby buggy bumpers to me, and it would annoy the crap out of me. But then I just started to embrace it, and Gerberbaby27 was born.
That's amazing. Do you remember what accent the guy had when he?
No, he was just. He's from the South. I know who he is. I just don't remember where he is exactly. I think he's from like North Carolina or something.
I was just trying to fully visualize the first delivery of Gerberbaby.
Yeah,
solid.
It was cool. No, but I love it. You know, now it sticks, and that's really it.
No, it's pretty fun. Definitely. I went through a couple of your interviews online and saw that awesome story.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Do you have... I noticed that some of your socials aren't all lined up consistently, though.
So, on Twitter, there was a person who had Gerberbaby527. Or no, Gerberbaby27, rather. And never used the account. It was literally sitting there. So, I messaged Twitter. I sent them business cards. I sent them like websites and all this and said, you know, this person hasn't used it, hasn't logged in since like 2010. You know, is there any way that I can have it? You know, and then there's another like, well, you'd have to file a thing for impersonation if he's using your name and it's not okay. So I did that. They said, okay, we suspended the account. I was like, all right, so how do I take control of it? I was like, oh no, you can't. We just if he's impersonating you, we suspend it. I said, but I'm Gerberbaby27. And they're like, sorry. So his account is now suspended. So if you go to twitter.com/Gerberbaby27, suspended. So I had to put 5 because May 27th, but I will probably change it. But I'm not going to change it till after the next convention because I have like 500 business cards with the Twitter ad on it. but I'll probably end up changing it. I just got to figure out what to change it to.
We have
Like
the
I don't
same
want to
issue.
be, I don't want to be that person that puts TTV in it, because then it's. So I got to figure out something.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put like the Gerberbaby27. I don't even know.
Yeah, official Gerberbaby. Something like
It doesn't
that.
really matter because on Twitter the ad handles are one thing, but on every profile it says what it is on top of it. So as
Yeah.
long as I can convey who I am and they know it, the ad doesn't matter.
Mhm. Well, I mean, we have the same issue with OP Seed. Instagram, the original OP Seed is taken as well, but it's
Really?
a abandoned account, so we have to be OP Seed Gaming. No, I'm sorry, not Twitter. My apologies. Instagram.
That's what you
So,
said.
yeah. Did I? Sorry, I was looking at the Twitter icon on the screen. I guess whatever. So we're unable to get it. It's just like a dead account, and ultimately, what ends up is there's two ways to get it. One of them is probably the easiest, is to physically find somebody that works at the business, be their friend, or convince them somehow to go in and change the ledger. I've heard of it happening. It's ridiculous. But second is there's a ledger or something that gets cleared every couple of years. And so they say it's unavailable, but actually it's unavailable for a period of time, in which case eventually it'll be dumped and put back into the ledger. You just have to basically check it and hope that one day it comes available.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The internet's a wild place.
Maybe one day we'll
But
get
like,
it.
I can't even reach out to the guy. I tried reaching out. I tagged the guy and said like, "Hey," and nothing. And then I looked and it hasn't. It showed him on like a Twitter analytics site, hadn't logged in since like 2010. I was like, crap. So and then now his account's suspended, so I can't even find out.
No, you can't even wait for it. Yeah. Which
No,
if you had known, you would have held off the submission.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, Gerberbaby, I appreciate you stopping by and sharing all the stories.
Appreciate you.
It was nice hanging out with you, and I hope we get to see you at PAX East.
You will.
Yeah.
Well, if you come, you will.
If I come. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next Twitch count.
I actually applied, so I'm waiting to hear back to be set up as a media for the event, to where I would stream on their socials and stuff like that while I'm there.
Very cool.
So that could be absolutely amazing. I did follow up, and they did respond because they hadn't responded for a while. So I sent them a message and they're like, "Oh, hey, just want to let you know we're still working on it. We'll get back to you in a few days." And that was like 2 days ago. So, maybe another email's coming, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, keep us posted. We'll love to share with everybody that we can and tell them to come by
Absolutely.
and see you and stuff.
I appreciate it.
Always. Well, keep doing what you do, game with heart, and we'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon.